And you mentioned that there's no down payment, just like with a regular VA loan, which is super awesome and a great advantage to using VA loans in the first place. But are there any special requirements that you need when you're or that are required by the VA when you're buying a duplex or quadplex or anything like that?
So as far as the loan requirements, like you're still going to go through the process the same way. And like we've had it before, there's still not a credit threshold that you have to reach. Although, of course, probably better credit, higher credit candidates are going to be more qualified for this type of home. We still
Mm,
have to look at all the factors and see how it's laid out. They're still going to look at your current income. One thing that's different when you're looking at multifamily is that you have to have reserves. In some cases, depending on how many units and how much that debt to income ratio is, you may need to have 6 months of reserves. So that means
right.
6 months of the mortgage saved up. And that's just because, if you think about it from the bank's point of view, they're lending you this money. If you just have one home, something can go wrong, right? And it's hopefully not a catastrophic thing. But if you have two, three, four different units and you also have renters in there, that kind of increases that liability, so to speak, and the amount of things that can go wrong because you don't know everything that's going on in those other units. So I would advise
Right.
people, just like with getting a regular single family home or townhome condo with your VA loan, start the process early so you can get a really good idea of what you would qualify for and how much money you would need to save. And that way you're better prepared when you're ready to start looking.
Could you define reserves for some people? They might not understand exactly what you mean by having 6 months of reserves.
So if your mortgage payment is $3,000, then you would have to have 6 months of the mortgage payment saved up. So in that case, $18,000. It might not always be that much. So that's why I say, it could depend on the number of units that you're looking. It could depend on the price of the home. It could depend on your current credit. But I'd just like to give people kind of that, I guess, worst case scenario, just so they know I do have to have some money saved if this is something that I